Most people think Cristiano Ronaldo is rich because he plays football. And yes, that is part of it. But when you actually sit down and look at every single stream of income he has carefully built and cultivated over the course of his career, you start to realize something deeply important: the football was never the whole story. The football was just the beginning. It was the door he walked through. Everything that came after that door is what made him not just the richest footballer on the planet, but one of the wealthiest athletes in the entire history of professional sport. And today, we are going to go through all of it. Every investment, every deal, every decision that turned a kid from Madeira, Portugal, into a man sitting on a fortune that most countries cannot compete with. So let us slow down and actually understand this, because there is a lot more here than most people realize. The football money. Let us start with the obvious one, because even the obvious one is staggering when you sit down and actually look at the numbers carefully. Over the course of his entire professional football career, from Sporting CP to Manchester United, Real Madrid, Juventus, and now Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia, Cristiano Ronaldo is estimated to have earned approximately $1.13 billion from football alone. That number alone puts him in a category that barely exists in sport. We are talking about wages, bonuses, performance incentives, and club salaries across a span of more than 2 decades. But the number that really makes people stop and stare is what he is currently earning at Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. When Ronaldo made the move to the Saudi Pro League in January of 2023, a lot of people in Europe thought it was the end. They thought he was retreating, that the move was a kind of quiet retirement dressed up in a football kit. What those people did not fully appreciate was the contract he signed. Ronaldo's deal at Al Nassr is reported to pay him in the region of $235 million per year. Per year. That is not a career total. That is not a lifetime figure. That is what he takes home every 12 months. When you break that down, it is roughly $19 million a month. It is over $4 million a week. And that salary structure, which also includes a range of commercial and promotional commitments built into the contract with Saudi Tourism, is unlike anything professional football has ever seen before. He did not just change clubs. He changed what a footballer's contract could even look like. The Nike deal. But here is where the story gets genuinely interesting, because football wages, as extraordinary as they are not what pushed Ronaldo into the territory he now occupies. The sponsorship deals are where the real architecture of his wealth was built. And the biggest, most foundational piece of that architecture is his relationship with Nike. Ronaldo has had a partnership with Nike for most of his professional life. He has worn their boots, fronted their campaigns, and starred in some of the most watched sports commercials ever made. But in 2016, that relationship was elevated to something most athletes never achieve. Nike offered him what is widely reported to be a lifetime endorsement deal, meaning it does not expire while he is playing. It continues for the rest of his life. Forbes has estimated the total value of this lifetime arrangement to be in the region of $1 billion. $1 billion from one company, across one partnership. To put that in perspective, that single deal is worth more than the entire career earnings of the vast majority of professional footballers who have ever played the game. Nike did not just sign him as a sponsored athlete, they tied their brand to him permanently, the same way they have done with LeBron James in basketball. That is a level of commercial recognition that confirms something very specific. Nike does not just see Ronaldo as a footballer, they see him as an institution. The CR7 brand now. If the Nike deal shows you how other companies valued Ronaldo, then the CR7 brand shows you how Ronaldo valued himself. Because he did not just take endorsement money from other people's companies, he built his own. The CR7 brand, which uses his initials and his legendary number 7, now spans an enormous range of products and industries. There is CR7 Fragrance, which has become one of the best-selling celebrity perfume lines in the world. There is CR7 Underwear and Clothing, which generates tens of millions in annual revenue. There is the Pastana CR7 hotel chain, which operates luxury properties in Lisbon, Madeira, New York, and Madrid, with more planned. And the total estimated value of the CR7 brand, across all its divisions and licensing agreements, is currently placed at approximately $900 million. Almost $1 billion, built under his own name, under his own control. What is remarkable about this is the discipline it represents. Ronaldo did not just lend his face to other people's products. He built an operation that could generate income independently of whatever was happening on the pitch. Think about what that means. Even on the days he cannot play, even on the days when football does not call his name, the CR7 brand is still generating revenue. The hotels are still running. The perfume is still selling. The clothing line is still shipping orders. He built a business that does not need him to score goals in order to turn a profit. That is a very different kind of intelligence than the one you need to beat a defender. The Instagram economy, and then there is social media. Ronaldo is not just the most followed footballer on Instagram. He is the most followed human being on the entire platform. As of recent figures, his Instagram account has surpassed 667 million followers. That is more than twice the population of the United States. And in the world of social media marketing, reach like that is not a vanity metric. It is a commercial asset with a very specific price tag attached to it. Brands that want Cristiano Ronaldo to post a single sponsored image on his Instagram account are currently paying in the region of $3.4 million per post. One photograph, one caption, one upload, $3.4 million. And because he can do multiple sponsored posts per year carefully placed so as not to overwhelm his audience or dilute his personal brand, his Instagram account alone generates a significant portion of his annual income. He has essentially turned his social media presence into a media company, and he is the only product it ever needs to sell. Investing in the future, what separates genuinely wealthy people from people who simply earn a lot of money, is the decision to take what you earn and make it work while you sleep. Ronaldo has clearly had people around him and instincts of his own that pushed him in exactly that direction. One of the most interesting investments he has made in recent years is his stake in Whoop, the health and performance tracking company. He became both a stakeholder and an investor in the brand, meaning he took equity in the business rather than just collecting a check to wear the product on his wrist. Whoop makes a wearable fitness tracker that monitors things like strain, recovery, sleep quality, and heart rate variability. It is popular among elite athletes precisely because it tells you not just how hard you are working, but how well your body is recovering. For Ronaldo, a man whose entire professional identity has been built around physical preparation and recovery discipline, investing in that kind of company is not random. It is an extension of his own philosophy. He does not just endorse products he does not use or believe in. He invests in companies whose purpose and mission aligns with everything he has spent his entire career building. That is a smarter and more evolved version of endorsement, because it means if the company grows in value over time, so does his stake in it. Owning a football club, then there is the ownership side. Because Ronaldo has not just been a player in this sport, he has begun to position himself as an owner. He holds a 25% stake in UD Almeria, a Spanish football club that competes in La Liga. That stake gives him a genuine seat at the table in terms of how the club operates, how it invests in players, and how it grows as a business over time. Football clubs, when managed well, are assets that appreciate. They have matchday revenue, broadcasting rights, player transfer values, and commercial income all flowing through them simultaneously. Owning even a quarter of a club is not a small thing. It is a long-term bet on an industry he understands better than almost anyone alive. The real estate portfolio, and finally, there is property. Ronaldo's real estate holdings are spread across multiple countries, but the crown jewel is a mansion currently under development in Portugal that has been reported to be the most expensive private residence in the country's entire history, valued at $42 million. The property sits on an exclusive piece of land and is being built to a specification that reflects the same level of obsession with detail and perfection that Ronaldo brings to everything else in his life. Beyond Portugal, he has owned properties in Madrid, Manchester, and other cities where his career has taken him. Real estate is not a passive hobby for him. It is another well-considered layer of the asset base, another carefully placed piece of the foundation he has been quietly and methodically building beneath the bright spotlight of his career. So when you step back and look at all of it together, the $1.13 billion from football, the $235 million salary at Al Nassr, the estimated $1 billion Nike deal, the $900 million CR7 brand, the $3.4 million per Instagram post, the Whoop investment, the 25% ownership of UD Almeria, and the $42 million mansion in Portugal, what you are actually looking at is not a footballer who got lucky with sponsorships. What you are looking at is someone who understood, very early on. That talent opens doors, but decisions build empires. Ronaldo did not stumble into this wealth. He constructed it, category by category, deal by deal, investment by investment, over the course of more than 2 decades of relentless, deliberate work. He treated his name like a brand, before most athletes even knew what that meant. He treated his body like an asset, his social media like a thriving media company, and his money like a strong foundation to build upon, rather than simply a reward to spend freely. And that is the lesson that consistently gets lost whenever people talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. They talk about the goals, they talk about the trophies, they talk about the rivalry with Messi. But the real story, the one that will matter long after the boots are hung up, is the one about a man who decided that one career was never going to be enough, and then went and built several more alongside it. That is the blueprint, and the blueprint works whether you are a footballer or not. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we break down the financial empires behind the world's biggest names every single week. Drop a comment below and tell us which part of Ronaldo's wealth surprised you the most. We will see you in the next one.